Hello.
Hi, Gene.
How are you, Dan?
Good. How are you? Hi, Charlie. Nice to meet you finally.
You as well.
Hi, the three of you that are there.
Hi, G. Hi, Chris.
How you doing? How's everybody?
Hanging in there.
That's all we can hope for.
Exactly. Gene, our boys don't look so good.
Oh, man. It's going to be a long year.
It is. It most certainly is.
And this
We kind of knew that.
I know.
Doesn't make it any
This could be
easier.
my last year for my two guys there, Devin and Matthew.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I think they're
Tough
done.
way to go out for them.
I know. Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it won't be so bad.
Let's hope. This, I guess, I said to you last week, this week would be telling. This week will be very telling.
How come when Matt Patricia was here, nobody said a word? I mean, I know he was coaching defense, but nobody said a word about Matt Patricia when he was here, right?
They did, just not as much.
I don't remember hearing a lot of criticism, though.
Well, you weren't in my house.
I don't know. I like Matty P, but
here's the problem: is he's so tied in with Bill that rubs people the wrong way. He tried to make himself Bill. That rubs people the wrong way, and he got run out of Detroit.
Oh yeah, as did many other people.
Yeah.
For him,
but he was different because of the arrogance.
Yeah.
And the more and more I hear about it, the worse and worse it sounds.
Yeah. But hey, I'm having no luck. This is the first time in my life I've ever rooted for the Raiders, and what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm rooting for them, but I'm not rooting against them yet. That'll come eventually.
Nah, it's rooting for. I mean, there's so many, Josh out there and Stidham and Duran.
The only teams I actively root against are all New York teams, all of them.
You're not gonna root for the Giants?
I can't root for any of all of them. If NY is in front of your team, yeah, they're mortal enemies.
Well,
I will go to my grave with that.
Buffalo.
I can't root for them either, though. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate Buffalo too.
But they're so good.
Gosh,
they're fun to watch.
I do have them in my year-long pool, so I have to root for them a little bit.
Yeah, right. It's amazing how things can change, isn't it?
Yeah, put a little money on the line.
Yeah, right. Changes things a lot.
All right, so I have to work off my phone. I've tried 2 computers. One, as you know, doesn't work for Zoom, and one just doesn't want to turn on. So
I had the same problem in my office today. I couldn't use my work laptop or my home laptop, and I had to use my cell phone.
So I want to take the phone and the computers and throw them all in the lake. Call it a night. Jeez.
I think you can do it.
I know I can do it.
Hey, so Dan, I'm actually using my new computer. How do I get like the grid look instead of just whose face is? Oh
God, there should be. If you go down to the bottom, there should be something down there.
No, up the top right, you have a little thing that you click. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the view. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Oh, full screen. I don't want the full screen.
No, there's options for what. There should be options for speaker view. Again, I don't have my computer on. I can turn on my computer and you won't be able to hear me, which might be a good idea.
Yeah, I'll just leave it the way it is. I'm using this new computer, so
we can see you, Gene.
Well, I can see you, Jed.
I look great.
I'll
turn that light off in the back.
I can hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm using my phone, Jed.
Water.
I am in the car, guys.
You can see that, Tone. Be careful, buddy.
Don't get pulled over.
I have my headset on and I'm focused on driving.
Attaboy.
Maybe
I don't.
turn off your video.
I know we won't
can do
have
that.
Sue tonight. She had a surgery today,
Oh
and
no.
it didn't sound like it was anything major. And I have not heard from Bob or Julie, so we can give it a couple more minutes. Oh, there's Julie.
Oh, Julie just joined in.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to hit any button on here. I'm gonna lose the whole thing.
Yeah, don't touch anything.
You're doing well, Gene.
That's what I do, Gene. I touch nothing.
We can
If it
see and
ain't
hear
broke,
you.
don't fix it.
Exactly. All right, Mr. Chairman, you want to call this bad boy to order?
Yeah, call the meeting to order.
7:02.
Take it away, Dan.
Thank you, sir. All right, so obviously I haven't seen anybody since summertime. And that was quite intentional because I was in the office at 6:45 a.m. and there till about 5 p.m. So I didn't want to see anybody at that point, sometimes including my own children, but I had to see them. And my wife's great, so she was no problem. But so I have a long list of updates to kind of go with you guys on, so bear with me here. So programmatically during the summer, we had a really good summer. You know, just some rough numbers for you guys. Actually, these are real numbers because I looked at them yesterday. So Club Rec, the program that we directly oversee our summer camp, we had 436 kids this summer during the 6 weeks that we ran. So roughly we had 73 kids a week. We were sold out 5 out of our 6 weeks. I kept my enrollment a little bit lower on purpose, just to be safe, not knowing everything coming out of pandemic and making sure that we could keep everybody safe. But we had a great staff. You know, I think I said last year, the best staff I ever had. This year was even better. Couldn't have done it without them. They were fantastic. And, you know, I think we had one, you know, bump in the road all summer. I mean, it was really smooth sailing. It went better than I could have ever dreamt. So that was
What's the
great.
bump?
What
What's
was the
that?
bump? Yeah.
Well, honestly, it was a behavioral issue. It was nothing that
Oh.
we could control. It was a very easy, simple thing. And really, that's how good the kids were too. We had a program, Children's Playhouse, which we do a lot with. They're continuing with us in the fall. For 5 weeks, we had 54 kids signed up. For soccer shots, we have a new soccer shots group that we work with. They had 25 kids signed up, which for a new program, they were full. That was max capacity. Blacktop basketball this summer, we had 76 kids. And we changed it. We used to do it in the mornings. We did it late afternoons this year. It seemed to really work. We had the Mcdavid field hockey clinics. For 1 week with 2 separate programs within it, we had 62 girls signed up. One-on-one basketball, we had 100 girls sign up. And that was a 1 week program. We did a program, Rec on the Run, which was, you know, a running program teaching kids how to run distances and kind of keep their pace. 2 different weeks, we had 51 kids signed up. Our SNL girls lacrosse program, 23 girls participated in that. For volleyball, we had 2 separate weeks of volleyball program, 86 girls signed up.
Wow.
Huge numbers for the first time that we've ever done. And that was with the high school volleyball coach. Wakefield Soccer Association, 177 kids for the 3 weeks that they offered it. Within the 3 weeks, they had 3 different age groups, but again, huge numbers. The high school lacrosse jam that was done with Tim Johnson. He had 2 different programs during the summer, done in 1 week, 56 kids. Warrior baseball had 52. That was a little bit down from last year, but I think it was a big vacation week. So that just happens, but still good numbers. The Warrior basketball. So the high school coaches, boys and girls, got together, ran 2 weeks of programming. They had 135 kids signed up. Great numbers. The Warrior softball, 28 girls signed up for that. And that was the week right after school ended. So that's a tough week too. People kind of getting away, getting out of town. One to just not be around right before the 4th. So good numbers for it. Sports Zone 101 had multiple weeks with us, about 10 total. They had 94 kids registered through us for the summer. They also allow for drop-ins. So that number is slightly off, but again, decent number. For some of our non-traditional sports, you know, the non-sports classes, we had a business sharks class. We had 11 kids, that was full. We had a Lego Adventures class, had 16 kids, that was full. We had a Lego Brick Motion, we had 10 kids, that program was full. We had Rocket Science, that had 10 kids, that was full. We had tennis, I forgot about tennis. We had 86 kids signed up for the summer. All in all, for the programs that we offered, we had 1,588 people participate in our summer programs. So I think those are strong numbers. I'm real happy with where it was. This is a summer I thought we were going to have pre-pandemic. That didn't happen because we had a pandemic, but we came back very strong. So I'm thrilled with that. We ended up canceling 4 things this summer, which is high for us, but it's not a bad thing because some things just don't run. We tried to run chess. We had no interest. We had a kids newsroom program. We had no interest. We had Worldwide Safari. That program had 2 people. We ended up having to do refunds for that. And we had a T-ball program that we were trying to run, kind of a sandlot baseball program. Sadly, it didn't run this year. We're going to try it again next year, maybe at the time of day, maybe it was the hours. We'll figure out something, but we're going to try and make that work. So that's kind of our summer programming. Any questions on summer stuff?
Dan, does the high school have a boys volleyball team, Wakefield High School?
They literally just advertised for it yesterday.
Really?
Yes. So apparently that is going to be a spring program. But I saw it on Twitter yesterday.
So the program that you ran, the volleyball was all girls.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, boys could have done it, but it was all girls.
Yeah.
Did Matt Patricia teach the rocket science class?
No, unfortunately he didn't. Yeah, he's not teaching offense either, apparently.
He's smiling a lot though, Matty P.
A little bit, yeah. Any other program questions for summer? All right, I'll jump over to stuff that's coming up or stuff that's already running with us right now. So for fall, we have our Parkinson's program that we started last winter, I think it was. That program's going very well. It's a heartwarming program. You feel bad because you see these people who were so full of life and vibrant, and now you're seeing them struggle. But to be able to see them get these new skills or relearn some skills, it's heartwarming. And our instructor she does a fabulous job with it. So that's going well. We have pickleball lessons that are starting up next week. Every class right now, so we run them on Mondays and Wednesdays. We have 2 different levels. We have beginner level and intermediate level. They are all full from starting Monday through the end of this year. They filled up very fast, and we can only take 8 maximum. That's all the instructor can do. And he runs 2 courts. If we can bring in a second instructor to run a 3rd court, we will, but I don't know if there's that much benefit to it, especially where he's so strong as an instructor. And I'd have to have somebody who could meet him or match him. But they're all full. I mean, the interest is there. We have our children's Playhouse program, which starts next Thursday. Yeah.
Is the pickleball instruction how to play, or is it
Yes.
strategy and how to?
Strategy, how to play, skills and drills, that kind of stuff. At the beginner level, how to set up nets, how to score, where to stand, how to swing the paddle, all those little intricacies of the game. Then the advanced beginners is more strategy stuff. And again, all full. The Children's Playhouse starts a week from tomorrow. We have 13 signed up for that right now. They're going to end up doing a performance in April. So this is a program that's going to continue all the way until then. And they're going to do Aladdin sometime in April. So that should be exciting. We have the Mcdavid Field Hockey Clinic that begins on Sunday. We have 28 girls registered for that. Flag football is off and running. We have 275 kids signed up for flag football this year. That's the most that we've had. And so far, so good. That's always a tough one because, everybody wants to be with their friends. It's hard to get the volunteer coaches. And you guys all know this. You guys have all been involved in stuff forever. And then the hardest part is actually the middle school age. It's just a rough group. We need to find a way to better work with them because they're a handful this year, if I'm putting it mildly. And this is the input that I'm getting back. We are offering a Warrior preseason basketball program, again, with the high school coaches. They're going to do a clinic for kids and a coaches clinic for the youth coaches. Numbers right now are low, though I expect that will sell out. Everybody here seems to register pretty late for our programs. So we're hoping the next couple of weeks we'll pick that right up because we want to fill those out. We have tennis lessons, and Sandy Palmer, our summer pro, unfortunately is unavailable because of her commitments to Woburn Racket Club. But we got the next best thing, which is her son Jack. So Jack's running lessons on Sunday mornings for us. His classes are full. We have archery classes that are starting up soon. Class is full. We have soccer shots with 35 kids registered so far. Class is full. So our numbers are doing really well. I'd love to be able to offer more stuff. Oh, I forgot, we have a Lego program that starts this coming Saturday at the Civic Center. 7 kids signed up. Fencing, we have 21 signed up. And our rock climbing program is full. So our capacities are there. I'd love to be able to have more people and more enrollment, but sadly I'm kind of stuck by the amount of people that instructors can take or space available through facilities. So we are what we are, but we're in a good place. People are interested in what we're doing, and we hope to offer even more. Any questions on fall programs?
Dan, where do you hold the archery class?
That is going to be at Moulton. Yeah, Moulton.
Oh,
Yep. They need a big, vast area. And there's no place bigger, more vast. So, and it's not, and honestly, it's not heavily used other than by dogs after school. So we can make that work.
Dan, those Sunday tennis lessons are those youth lessons?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're looking to see if Jack can do adult lessons at some point too. We had a person who was doing adult lessons in the spring. She sadly moved back home. Home is somewhere in Pennsylvania for her, so she left us, unfortunately. But we're looking to do those again because they were popular.
Yeah. All right.
All right. If no other questions, I will move on to. We'll move on to Civic Center stuff. So we're busy. Monday through Fridays slammed. We have pickleball in there. We have, the Boys and Girls Club is in from 2 to 6. We have youth cheer coming in from 6 to 8. And we have adult basketball from 8 to 10. So place is busy all week long, Monday through Friday. The Heritage Room has, a BNI, which is a networking group for businesses. They're in every Tuesday. Then we have the North Suburban Family Resource Network doing programs for kids. They're in every Tuesday afterwards. We have the Parkinson's class on Wednesdays. The Boys and Girls Club has the Heritage Room Monday through Friday from 12 to 6. The high school boys soccer team is in there on Sunday AM from 8 to 10 to do kind of look at the videos and then go off to practice. And then weekend rentals of the gym are really starting to pick up. So it's busy. It's a good thing. And it's only going to get busier. The kitchen downstairs has been renovated. It is no longer, it's not a kitchen at this moment. It is an office. The town needed more space for the Board of Health. They have an intake coordinator who started working for them. So they're working with the food pantry as well. So that person is in the food pantry on Tuesdays and Thursdays during their hours. So they have a little office in there right now. And the one caveat I told everybody, I'd allow that to happen, but it may not remain an office forever. We may go back to a kitchen. Right now it was dead space, so let's put it to some good use. We have painting going on the outside of the building. Then painting is going to happen in the lower level of the Civic Center. The gym roof is finally being replaced. That should be starting soon, I hope. And the Chamber of Commerce moved into the building. They are upstairs now, actually in their old location, kind of above my office. So it's nice having them in the Civic Center. We're busy. It's always something new, something fun, something adventurous. And improvements are continuing, which is a great thing. And our custodian, I know I told you guys about Christina before. She is absolutely fantastic. It was sad when Jesus left because he was a great guy. I feel like we really won in getting Christina because she is just next level. We're so blessed to have her. So any questions on Civic Center stuff? No. Okay. So fields. Turf, as you can imagine, booked solid Monday through Friday. Saturdays, Landrigan's booked pretty busy with band stuff or SNL for me. Sundays, there's youth football and the high school field hockey team. So turf fields are busy. There's a men's baseball team that Bill Smeglin runs. Used to run Little League many moons ago. At this point, they're using Walsh, and they're in playoffs. So they're using that on Saturdays or Sundays. Men's softball is in playoffs, so they're still going. The fitness court. So we've talked about the fitness court briefly before. I'm still waiting for the pad to be installed, which is the concrete pad. We are getting very close. I had hoped that this would have been done a long time ago, and it hasn't yet. So I'm pushing to get it done, because we really need that concrete to be poured so it can cure. I ended up buying a product that the National Fitness Campaign sells to help cut down that cure time in half. So we can ideally get this installed before the end of October. That's really kind of my timeline at this point. I had many meetings this summer about the fitness court. I had neighborhood meetings about the fitness court. Location had changed multiple times. Location is going to be right outside of the old tennis courts where the basketball court is. The basketball court's gonna be ripped up and replaced. Tennis court's the fitness court's gonna go there. Then we are looking to put the basketball court inside the tennis court and look to add a street hockey court as well. This is stuff that the town administration's pushing for, as well as town council. And quite honestly, it's not something that I'm against either, because this is how I kind of like to see that facility finally used and renovated and looking nice, because it needs some love, that's for sure. So that stuff's kind of coming up. But the fitness court is step one. We have to get that concrete poured and then stop building that. And then the other stuff will come down the line. And from everything I'm told, the basketball court and the street hockey court will be funded through ARPA funding. So that's something that's been kind of promised. And actually, when the street hockey court came about, the concept came about, I actually reached out to the Bruins.
Yeah.
And I did not expect to hear back, because I used to have a nonprofit that I ran, and I reached out to the Bruins for stuff. And quite honestly, I never heard back. I never got anything from the Bruins. So when they got back to me within a week, I was stunned. And they ended up bringing out Bob Sweeney. So Bob Sweeney's the head of the Bruins Foundation. And the day that he was coming, I asked the Boys and Girls Club to make sure that that place was heavily used and we're looking good. And they were playing street hockey that entire day. Bob Sweeney came down, looked at the site. We need to get them some numbers as to what we think this can do. And the Bruins Foundation may be able to contribute something to this. So that's exciting. I've met with a few teenage boys who had requested this type of facility be built. They made the request to town council. The middle school once a year has the kids kind of write to town council things that they want to see done in town. And this was a popular one. So I reached out to those boys who were interested and kind of put them on a little committee with me to kind of bounce some ideas. What would look good? What would you want to see? They go all over the Northeast and play. What do you guys see at these other facilities that we can put here? And they gave me some great ideas. So I passed those along to Bill Renault, our town engineer, and I'm just waiting back for some information as to what that would, ideally cost or what it could cost. And then we'll have conversations with the Bruins, and then we'll kind of get this ball moving on that too. So that's probably more of a next summer thing. Like I said, the fitness court is the main priority there. So before I jump to the next things that I have, any questions about Fit Court, Moulton Park, anything else, Jed?
Oh, Dean, I walked by the new McKenna courts today.
Yep.
Late in the day, and there's standing water in 3 different places at 7 o'clock tonight.
That's not good. Which is funny.
I know, so I don't.
It's fun. Funny is not the right word, but it's ironic because I know the town had the reason that was delayed opening the pickleball courts, which the tennis, the McKenna courts. The reason that was delayed so long was because the town was not happy with the grade originally that was done, and the contractor had to go back and redo it.
Really? Well, I mean, when did it rain last? Yesterday, and it was standing water
That's-
on the court tonight at six. I walked the lake from 5 to 6:30.
Good to know. I'll pass it on.
You should put a squeegee down there. We should have a,
Yeah.
So that's come up, Rich. And the thing is, where do we put it where it doesn't get taken, stolen, or broken?
well, I don't know, you hang it on the wall. It's
I
gonna
know.
get, all of those things are gonna happen, but,
And then who's going to replace them?
But can you put the same coat on it and lock it, and the same coat as you use to get the pickleball out?
It
No,
wouldn't
'cause you have
fit-
to
it
rent-
wouldn't fit in the
You
box.
have to pay to, no, and you have to pay to rent the nets anyway.
And I'll
Can't
go over that
imagine.
too.
yeah.
Yep.
no.
Speaking of
Thank you.
those courts, Dan, do you know when the tennis poles are gonna be installed?
I actually drove by yesterday and I saw them installed.
Did they, oh, okay, cool. Did they put the
And I
nets
was
up?
surprised.
Yeah,
I was surprised because when the courts were open, and the day that I was told to open them is the day I opened them, was like my second or third time down there. They're incomplete. You know, the tennis nets weren't up, the fencing's not finished, the gates aren't on, there's no windscreens, and there's no signs. The signs just came in. If I'm being brutally honest, and I'd say to anybody, I think we opened them a little too soon, because I like having a finished product as opposed to having a half finished product. You know, I know the courts are there, the lines are there, and that's great. The windscreens, obviously, at that location make a big difference. The gates, we've had a couple instances where there's a gentleman who rides a motorized scooter bike, something like that, around town. He likes to zoom right through there, no matter what's going on, if people are playing or not playing. And that's caused one or two commotions. You know, the fencing's not completely secured to the post yet. So, and the town knows this, that it needs to be finished. I know things were back ordered. I personally would have waited, but I did what I was told. And quite honestly, they're booked and they're used.
yeah. So when you say signs, are they like court 1, court 2?
Yes. Yeah. And the rules and regs of the court. So if anybody says I can drive this motorized scooter through here, well, no, you can't, because it's actually on the rules and regs.
I got to use the pickleball court. My mom and my aunt came in town, and there
Nice.
was like we used them a couple Fridays ago. Like during the day, there was a nice group of ladies playing on the court next to us. So it was nice, and we like rented the net
nets.
and stuff and took it out.
So
Yeah,
that was a
fun.
point of contention too, the whole renting of the nets. So, you know, and this happened at the opening that we had. I had more than one person, more than two people come up to me, upset that they needed to rent the pickleball nets. And I reached out to a few other communities before we did this, and a few other communities are going in this direction. I needed to protect my investment. I'm the one, Recreation's the one who bought the nets. And the only way, if they go lost, missing, stolen, whatever, broken, how's that gonna be replaced? You know, as a self-supporting entity of the town, I want to make sure that we're taken care of. So I rented it out. You know, we're doing the rent out thing. Will we do it this way forever? I don't know. Right now, we're doing it like this. You know, some people say, well, we're taxpayers and we already paid for the courts. Why do we have to pay for nets? My argument back was, if you rent the nets, well, you can go buy your own net, then you don't need to rent a net. Or if you want to rent the net and there's 4 of you, that's $250 per person for an hour. Tell me what we can do for $250 an hour. I've yet to find anything.
But Dan,
So-
can people from out of town rent it?
Yeah, so the out of town rentals of the courts is $20 an hour. For residents, it's nothing. And then anybody can rent the nets for an extra $10.
And June, when I went and did it, the Play Local thing, like somehow I forget what I had to put in. I put some information in, and they could confirm that I was a Wakefield resident. So when I went
Based
to
off your
rent the
credit
court,
card number.
yeah. So I rented the court for $0, and then it was $10 for the net. So it was super easy. Dan, I mean, like that's the only solution I think to make them to charge, because otherwise, you know, you can't have like permanent nets, because then we can't use it for tennis. So, you know, and the ladies next to us, they already they have their own net. So
Yeah,
Right,
it's
and they-
it's super easy for somebody like you and I, but somebody, the pickleball crowd is a little bit older, and it's just not,
Yeah.
it can be a little difficult. If I asked my dad to do it, he'd be, hanging a string over for a net.
We do leave the directions in the bag. So, and quite honestly, it's not that hard. I mean, I've never looked at a direction in my life. And I've put together plenty of nets in different brands. I've never looked at a direction. I just put it together. It really is more common sense than you think.
And you have to buy your own racket, so a paddle, whatever.
Right.
So
And you have to bring your own balls. I mean, there's certain things that you just have to do. And the argument to me was, well, people don't have to pay for the tennis nets. I get that. But at the high school, the tennis nets, when they were replaced, you know who buys them? Not me. The Friends of Reading, the Friends of Wakefield Tennis buys them. They bought in all the tennis nets since I've been here. So, it's one of these things that we just have to do. We'll see if it works. I mean, I'm trying it for now. If in spring, we may not do it. I may rent them out of my office. We're trying things and seeing what works. I know that Beverly is going to rent them out of their office. Reading leaves their net there at the court that they have. Reading's court is also so far remote out of the way that nobody would walk by it, see it, and it wouldn't be a distraction to somebody or a thought of, hey, let me go get that. And people were trying to tell me about what goes on the Reading court, and I had to politely tell them, I'm well aware. Not only do I live in Reading, I was born in Reading. My parents live right across the street from the pickleball courts. I know what goes on there. I've known what goes on there my entire life. So, we compare apples and oranges. We do what works best for us, or what we think works best for us, and if it doesn't, we'll fix it. So that's kind of the long and short with the pickleball courts. But they're open. People are excited about it. I'll look into a squeegee, see what we can do about getting it down there and securing it to the fence and hoping that it doesn't go missing. Of course, people want me to go down there with a leaf blower too and get rid of the crab apples that fall on the courts too. So
There were so many.
there's a ton. I get it.
But
Is
you
there
know what?
any-
The tree provided good shade, so it was fine.
Right. Right. What was that, Rich?
Is there any regular scheduled games or anything like that are going on there now?
Yeah.
Leagues? None. Because I
No.
saw a couple weeks in
No.
a row, I saw a bunch of guys playing on Wednesday, which
Yeah,
I
no.
thought was great. I just didn't know if they were.
I
they
won't
had-
schedule any leagues, tournaments, or anything like that down there. It's strictly recreational.
Okay.
Dan, can I ask about the
Is there a
fit
way
court?
to find out
Oops,
who
sorry.
signed up?
Yeah, I can get all that information from Play Local.
Okay.
In fact, they gave me a breakdown of rentals of the Dobbins courts last year, and it was like 4,000 rentals. Which means we were actually one of the more heavily used tennis courts that they reserve out.
Okay.
What was that, Julie? I know you had something.
I was going to ask about the fit court,
Yep.
unless anybody else wants to talk about pickleball. The question I had, you said because the tennis courts at Moulton don't get used, right? Like they're not okay. So that's going to be like we don't have those courts anymore, but it's really not that much of a loss because those aren't used. They didn't look well maintained the few times I've been
They're not.
over there for other things. Okay. So then it's going to be basketball and street hockey. Now, street hockey, that it's not roller hockey, like it would only be used for street
It could
hockey.
be. It could be
Okay.
roller hockey. Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be like a rink format, not
Yep.
just like here. Okay. All right, cool.
Exactly. Yep. And then
All right.
we've discussed maybe putting a pickleball court within the basketball court, just to have another location that we could potentially do that. So
Mhm.
it wouldn't impact anything if we did that.
Just a few
So-
more lines on the ground.
Just a few more lines. I mean, if people want to get confused by lines, come to the Civic Center. I got so many there that I'm probably the only one who knows what they all actually mean. So,
Yeah.
Okay. And then one last thing about fields. So BMX. So just to kind of revisit all that, I have reached out to the neighbors who reached out to us before with their concerns about the BMX. I got no response. So for me, no news is good news. I have asked a couple times how things are going. Is there any impact? What you know, actually one was to sit there and see if I go to that person's backyard, and I got no response. So that's where we stand. I will continue to try and get information. I will try to go down to one of the next events. Sadly, the couple that I could have gone or thought I could go to, family things came up. You know, one was we ended up, let me get her, hold on a second. We ended up adopting this little girl.
Oh my God.
She was one of the Invigo Beagles. She was bred.
I can't see. That's not fair.
Oh my
She was bred to be
God,
tested
so
on.
cute.
Yep. So we had to go pick her up in New Hampshire.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
So, and then the other one, my wife and my oldest daughter took a trip to New York City to go see Harry Styles. So I had to be home for that. You know? So those are the two things, and be with my other child and this pup. So the 2 dates that I could have done something, family things got in the way, but I'm going to try and make my way over there because I promised that I would, and I like to be a person of my word. So that's it with BMX, and that's it with Fields.
Dan?
Yeah.
Dan, the BMX, I was talking with Freddie Marshall, and he lives on Unicircle. His backyard's right there, and he said he's never had a problem with anything as far as BMX goes.
Well, I know that Freddie has also been a longtime supporter of there. He has fixed the benches for them or the bleachers for them in the past, painted them, the signs and such. So he's always been a great ally of the BMX, and they've always greatly respected him and his time that he's given. So, you know, it's nice to hear that he doesn't bother him. Sadly, some people are bothered by it, and I want to make sure as best I can that everybody's okay. And if it's not a loud thing, you know, we could open it to more next year if we wanted to. Again, as long as it's not impactful on the neighbors, that's always been a concern of mine. And again, having grown up across the street from a park, I understand their situations. That being said, I know how good it is for BMX to be able to have that. So just want to balance that fine line.
Dan, there was
I just want to let you know.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Chris.
there was one of those flyers that comes in with coupons in the mail. That had a Wakefield BMX. It says Wakefield BMX free 1-day membership. Is that just to participate, you know, to encourage people to come down to participate?
That would be my guess. Because then I know that they're doing a big push on social media because I've seen it to attract more riders. I don't think they're getting the demand that they hoped or wanted.
And I also noticed they're using the Wakefield logo, the Warrior logo.
They can use whatever they want. They're
I know,
a
I'm
separate
just telling
organization. Yeah. I
It
see
may
exactly
not-
have shirts.
May not be, I don't know. Anyway, I was just wondering when I saw it, I said, wait a minute, how can they do that? And then I was like, well, they're just encouraging people to come down and join.
Right. And I think the membership, if my memory serves me correct, and let's be honest, that isn't always the case, doesn't serve me correct. I think that's through a USA BMX thing. So maybe they're getting waivers because people have to get a membership for USA BMX to be able to participate in these races. So that'd be my guess, is that they got a waiver to do that, again, to attract more riders.
Yeah, that's all it says. It's free 1-day membership.
Yeah.
New riders only.
Right.
New riders only. I was just curious when I saw it.
Yeah. I mean, I tip my hat to them if they can find new ways to get more people. Great. You
Yeah,
know,
because I'm assuming it costs some money to put an ad like that in a flyer that, you know, is mailed. So
I would think so. Yeah. Any other questions about Fields? No. All right. So one last thing I have is, you know, so I mentioned before that the town's going to ask for, or the, you know, looking to use ARPA funds. So the state, the American Rescue Act funds, and the town of Wakefield got like 7.2 million or something like that. We've already used $100,000 towards a fitness court. I've also put in requests for the wheelchair swing that we have discussed for years. I finally got a quote on that. I actually finally found one that I believe in. Some of the other ones I thought were just too, they weren't sturdy enough, and they wouldn't serve the purpose well. but I found one that I really like, and it's a sticker price. It's $74,000, but I think that this thing would last. I don't think it would be easily broken or destroyed. So I put in for an opera request for $74,000 for that item. I put in, for improvements to the lights at Vetsfield. It has been a conversation for years that they need an upgrade. The number I think I got 5 or 6 years ago was about $200,000. It has now gone quite a bit up. It is $235,000 to $245,000 for the lights, and that does not include installation.
Wow.
So, yeah. So we put in for that.
Can the light department do the installation, or they have to be like Musco has to?
They would
do
have
that?
to be Musco. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of pros to having the Musco. Not just for softball purposes, but that is also our landing site for any
Med flight.
helicopters that need to come in and med flight. Yeah. And I can tell you that last year when there was that unfortunate accident in Greenwood, the town was scrambling to call me, and I didn't have my phone on me at the time, which is rare, to later to find out to get the code for the lights, because there's only so few of us have the code to the lights. Whereas if it was on the Musco lights, myself, Joe Conway, Brendan Kent, a bunch of other people could just go on and flip them on immediately. So
Can you, would it be out of order to ask one of the people on this committee just to have it as a backup, Dan, those codes? Like
I
as
will
the-
I will ask Joe Conway if that's possible.
Yeah, just like the 10th man out of 9
Right.
to, just
Well,
in case.
I'll tell you, Tone, Dennis Fazio doesn't even have that code. He doesn't, but that's something that maybe we can look into and make sure that he has as well, and
Yeah,
police and
yeah.
fire. I mean, there should be a
Yeah.
few more
Yeah.
who have it than
Yeah, why-
Just
just give the
absolutely.
code to the
Maybe the
police.
fire
They should be
department.
able to be trusted.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So, and quite honestly, they have it somewhere, but in an emergency, I think you're just trying to do what you
Yeah.
got to do.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Get it done.
so,
We're good.
but yeah, it was a large sticker shock for that, and we'll see where that goes. And then of course, the street hockey court was estimated to be about $200,000. Soup
For
to
the
nuts.
lighting?
No, for the street hockey
oh,
court.
Okay.
Street hockey, basketball, all that stuff. That was kind of an estimate. So, because we looked to put boards and some bells and whistles to make it look nice. New fencing. We need to put up some mesh fencing along the neighbor's side, just to make sure that people aren't looking in the backyards. That was one thing that was requested, and quite honestly, it wasn't an unfair request. So, and some netting that would go up so any balls or pucks, whatever they're using, aren't going into the parking lots, hitting cars. It's little things that we need to think about. So, so I put in a bunch of opera requests. These are one-time expenditures that that's how this is supposed to be paid out. They don't want something that's going to be, continuous payment. They want one-time expenditures. So I put in for the best ones I can put in for. And I think the town's also looking to potentially do a spray park somewhere. So I don't know the location of that, but that's a conversation. And I got a rough number for Steve about, I think it was about $250,000 to do that. So,
Wow.
yeah. So none of these things are cheap, they are mostly wants, not necessarily needs, though I think the swing would be a need. The lights would be second on my list as a need. But we'll see where all this goes. This is something that town council will vote on at some point in time.
Dan, what was the last thing? What did you say? A spray?
Spray park, splash pad. That's been something that's been bandied about for a while.
That'd
So,
be-
and it honestly
it'd
would be
super,
a very nice addition.
and it would be busy. People
It would be very
That's-
busy. Yeah.
That sounds super cheap at $250,000.
Yeah, quite honestly, and I think that's on the high end, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan, what about there's cost associated with running that, obviously, because there's water. So could that just qualify it from getting approved?
I don't think so, because that would come out of a different budget. And quite honestly, I mean, I would love to see a way, and this is pipe dreamish, have it somewhere by the lake and run filtered water there from the lake. Reusable. I mean, we had a beach in Arlington when I worked there. It was Reservoir Beach, and that was all recycled water. That was filtered. And actually, we chlorinated it too. But
Is that the expensive proposition to filter water from that lake?
well, nothing's ever cheap, Eugene. You know,
I'm just
I can only
thinking
imagine
that
what it
might
costs.
cost.
You know, but that again, that's probably a pipe dream on my end, but I'd love to see it.
Be a good idea if it could be done cost
I mean,
effectively.
I'd love at some point in time to, you know, bring Colonel Connolly's Beach back and again, put a burned off area, filtered water, kind of like we have in Arlington. I don't think it's very realistic, if I'm being honest, in this setting, with the way the lake is now. But what do I know? What do I know what will happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I only have 14 years left, so then I can tell.
You're too young to be talking 14 years.
Yeah. Listen, we're looking at colleges right now. I'm not feeling very young right now. My senior's aging me very quickly, and my freshman's aging me quickly too. So, yeah. So that's what I have for ARPA requests. That's fields. That's the AmeriCal. That's programming. I'm open to any and all questions, concerns, or otherwise.
What's the puppy's name?
Puppy is Macy.
Well,
She's
this
a good
is
little girl.
Brady.
A good little girl. Charlie, what do you got?
Yes, so I'm new, so my name is Charlie. I was taking everything in, so I know there's a lot going on, so that's why I didn't speak during and ask questions. But I do have a couple of questions, and I apologize if all of you discussed this before or had conversations in the past about it. But is the main issue or one of the issues getting volunteers for programs or the enrollment for programs that you have?
Generally, so for a program like most of our programs are contracted out and they're in charge of running everything soup to nuts. When it comes to something like flag football, again, contracted out, we need volunteers for something like that. And what we've struggled with the last few years, not so much on the younger levels, the K to 1s, parents are enthusiastic, 2 to 3 enthusiastic, 4 to 5 enthusiastic, 6 to 8, nobody wants to do it. And it's a struggle. Enrollment wise, most programs fine. Now everybody registers late, and I mean late, but that's the way the culture is, and it's kind of there's no major demand yet. I think if we got to a point where, and maybe that's next summer, because again, we sold out a ton of stuff this summer. Maybe next summer is if we don't get in that early, we're not getting in it phase. With flag football is 275 kids, and we can take more. That's not a problem. It's getting the volunteers, and quite honestly, the right volunteers.
Yeah. I grew up in Melrose, and I went through the recreation program there. I actually worked for the Melrose recreation program for about 6 years.
Yeah.
So I helped run the basketball and the parks, and in Melrose they have over the summer about 4 parks open. I don't know if they still do, but 4 parks open where there's paid high school kids or something that maintain a box that has equipment for any kind of sport or arts and crafts.
Sure.
But does Wakefield High School have a requirement for volunteer hours?
I do not believe they do.
They don't. Okay.
I think at one time they did, but I don't believe they do anymore.
Okay. So I was
But
thinking
Tony would know that better than I do.
Rich, I'm going to defray that to Rich because I thought they did.
No, none of my kids had to do any volunteer things to graduate.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking possibly if they could volunteer for the recreation department and can sign off on their volunteer hours over the summer. It could help with.
We have what you
expanding.
described back in the day also here in Wakefield. We have the open parks with the park instructors, with the sheds. We don't, those days seem to be long gone.
I think they do have volunteer hours. I do, but I also think that the National Honor Society, I'm being told, but I also think that hours that you volunteer, say reffing for the WBA or reffing for any of the other organizations or coaching for any of those organizations, like the little kids, that counts. So I don't know. That's what I know.
The one thing that ends. Go ahead, Tom.
Dan, I'll tell you that 5th and 6th and 7th grade, as anybody on this call knows, is absolutely brutal. It is the black and blue division. There's no other way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And
hard.
I feel your pain.
It's hard. And
Yeah.
where SNL does the flag football for us, and really they do I can't believe that they do this in 10 communities with 327 teams or whatever it is. And honestly, it goes so smooth. If they don't have a coach, they take their referees, who are high school age kids, and they make them coach. So last year, one team didn't have a coach, and the one of the referees was actually the Reading High quarterback, James Murphy. James Murphy's a potential Division I football player. 6'5", 204, lightning arm. The only problem is he doesn't run very quick.
What's he doing Sunday?
Listen, he's got a game Friday. He's got a game Friday night first against Danvers. Okay, that's a big one for us. And when you have a senior cheerleader, that's important. When you have a senior cheerleader, it's very important that the quarterback doesn't get hurt between now and then. So yeah, so James coached one of the teams last year, and I remember a parent, contacted me and saying, this one kid, he played quarterback the entire time, and it wasn't fair to the rest of the kids. But that kid was James Murphy throwing the ball to your son. Like, that's awesome. And one kid picked him off and like taunted the kid for the rest of the year. Like, people focus on the wrong things sometimes. And as a parent, and I'd be thrilled if a kid like James Murphy was coaching my child's team and throwing them passes. It's just a hard age to get the right people to do it, and then to get the other people to just step back and let the kids be kids. And that's a lot of what I'm seeing is parents getting overly involved, overly concerned at that level, at the middle school level. The young ones, we don't have that problem. One parent reached out to me this year and said, hey, listen, I know there's going to be at the grade K-1 level, I know there's going to be about 14 girls. Can we make an all girls team? I thought it was a great idea. So I reached out to SNL. Can we make an all girls team? Absolutely. So there's an all girls team now. And the right people are coaching that. Those kids, and we reached out to all the parents. Would you be okay if we did an all girls team? They loved it. And that team will probably see it together for a little while and play. Like, those are the heartwarming stories. Those are why we do what we do, not the ones who give us the headaches. And, SNL, they told me today, they're like, we need to talk about the middle school program next year. I don't know if they want to do one. It's like, that's the struggle that we're having. And we're only 2 weeks into the program. We have more time to go with this. So it's, and every year I have an email that goes out to parents and tell them here's my core principles of this program. There's no trophies. There's no parades. There's no rings given out. I don't care who wins and loses. I want this to be all with the kids. I want them to have fun. I want them to get new opportunities, experience new positions, play everything they can play, make playing time equal for everybody. Those are what I want from this program. And that's what SNL believes as well. In fact, they've taken my email that I sent out to parents this year, and they made it a requirement that every other recreation department send out the same exact thing, because they believe in the philosophy that we have. It's hard to get some of the coaches that we have to buy into that, because again, they want to win. I don't care about winning. And I know the kids want to win, but if we balance off the teams as best we can, and honestly, I don't know the best athlete from the worst athlete. I don't know who they are. I don't know the kid who's never played before versus the kid who's played for 5 years. I don't know who they are, and I don't care. I want them to have the same fun experience. That's the important thing on my end. And one parent had reached out after the first week and said, I thought you weren't stacking teams. We didn't. We don't know one from the other. Well, high school kids were playing on this team. Well, we reached out to the kids. They were all 7th or 8th graders. Every team has 3 6th graders, 3 7th graders, 2 8th graders. Every team has that. One team just got the really good guys. One team didn't. There's no other way to do it, and that's life. That's sports. That's how it goes. So these are the little battles that we have. Are these major issues? No. Are they fixable? Maybe. Again, I just want to give the right experience to everybody. And, getting the volunteers for that 5th through 8th grade group is hard. And I think we all have a feeling or an intuition as to why.
Right. My last question or comment. I feel their department does a great job outreaching. The website's easy to use. Facebook is used a lot. There's a lot of programs around town that people are aware of. Are there tables or booths at different events, like the town day coming up? I know there's a cornhole tournament that the rec has signups on their online for, but do you have a table that could like advertise or hand out flyers for different programs that are coming up?
I'm actually on the committee for it. I will be there that day. I will have a tent, a table, and
Awesome.
a bunch of my contractors who will be there to answer questions about their programs.
Cool. Okay, good.
Because we actually have a couple who are going to demo down there. So our fencing instructor is going to do a demonstration. Soccer shots is going to do a
awesome.
demonstration. Yeah, and then the children's playhouse, they want, hey, Dan, can you get a table? Like, yeah, we got a table, and they want to be at the table and kind of run and answer questions about their program. So we're inviting some of our contractors to be there for that purpose.
One thing I liked was, and I know I'm talking about Melrose again, but that's the only experience I have.
Sure.
True experience. I have kids that are 5 and 3, so I'm really getting into the rec and other programs we have in this town. And I've been living here for over 6 years too.
Okay.
But a registration day or a fair day where you have every program or every third-party contractor that you outsource to. I'm picturing at the Civic Center having like 20 tables for all the different things that are going to be run over the spring and summer, and having one day where people can come in, sign up, ask questions, and there could be demonstrations of the different things that'll be going on in the upcoming year. I don't know if has that occurred in the past or.
So we did that 17 years ago when I worked in Reading. And when I went to Arlington, by the time I got there, which was about, I don't know how many years ago now, 11, 12 years ago, that became a thing of the past.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of times, so Reading will have a registration for these programs opens on XYZ day. My thing is when I'm ready to, when I have a program ready to go, we're just going to register. You know, it for us, it works easier. Reading, I know they have like 2 or 3 programs that are core programs that if you don't register that day, you're done. You know, and we used to do it in person too. And of course, this was before we even had registration sites that we could do things on and advertise in person. We had to mail out booklets. You know, when I got to Wakefield, the first thing I did was I said, I'm never mailing out another booklet. It's a huge cost and I don't see the return on it. You know, it costs about $10,000 to make a booklet for summer, then another one for fall, another one for winter, another one for spring. You don't see the return on it. Where we went kind of paperless from day one when I started 8 years ago. Yeah, just past 8 years ago, not long ago. I said we were going to be paperless the entire time, or as much as we can. I don't foresee us going where we'd have that, but I think we could have some demonstration days.
Yeah, I was thinking
people get a good feel for the
garner
coaches.
interest. It couldn't just be registration. It could be sign up on this list, see what's going on, what could go on this summer. And if you have like 50 people sign up for some chess program, I know chess didn't happen, then maybe they can see what will be taught there and who's going to be the instructor, and maybe they get more excited for it. Right.
Yeah, no, that's a fair assessment. I will
Just a thought.
My wheels are turning right now. That's a good thing. I will see if that's something that we could certainly put together, and you know, because I like to start registration for summer programs like February vacation at the latest. I want to get going, even though again, I know people aren't going to register then, but it makes me feel good that I have that stuff planned. But maybe we could do something April vacation where, hey, here's a demo for this, this, and this, you know, a 1 hour thing. You know, in the Heritage Room, I'll have chess, a Lego, and whatever else it might be. And then in the gym, we'll have, you know, a couple of the coaches show up and say, hey, you know, I'm going to do lacrosse, I'm going to do volleyball, I'm going to do soccer, I'm going to do whatever it is. And just to kind of meet and greet.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, maybe new programs or programs that don't, like chess, that don't maybe pull as many. It'd be good. I mean, you're always going to have kids to sign up for tennis and soccer and basketball. And
one of the things that I tend to do now especially if it's a new program, like Soccer Shots was new to us. The company wasn't, but the instructors were. I said to them, I need a demo day. And they were thrilled to do it. You know, if we get a boys volleyball clinic going off, I might do that because nobody's asked me for boys volleyball, but I had so much requests for girls volleyball. I mean, I've been getting peppered on that for 3 years, and we tried with the old coach, and unfortunately, she just couldn't commit to doing the programs. And of course, then the pandemic happened. You know, when I go on interviews, and I've interviewed a lot of the high school coaches that are currently there. One of the things I always ask is, what will your community involvement be? You know, how are you going to help engage the youth and not only try to retain them at Wakefield High School, but also get to them young so they might want to come play for you someday. And that's where we've kind of built that relationship where we now have several coaches who will work with us in the summer. If we get a volleyball program, I'd love to have that person come down and say, hey, listen, I'm going to give a Saturday at whatever it is, and whoever's interested, show up. And that may work very well. Anything else from anybody?
And do you have any ideas of things? I know we have the pickleball and you have the Parkinson's group and everything, but for adults.
So we've had a bunch.
We did the photography one time, and
we've had some in the last couple of years. I have a few contractors who are on hold right now, who are working through their life schedules to see what they can fit in. So we have more things coming up. I don't want to tip my hand yet because I don't have the full commitments yet.
Right.
We have a few things on the horizon. Because I'd love to use the Heritage Room more in the evening for adult ed style classes. I'm not talking computers or that kind, that kind of stuff. I'm talking, paint night, fitness classes, pottery, painting, like those kinds of things. I'm looking for more of those kinds of things. I'd love to partner with some of our local businesses. There's one across the street that I know that does some kind of like, door hanging things. I'd love to have, or even flower arrangements. I'd love to have those kinds of things because those are skills that people could take home and use.
Yeah.
If I could ever coax my mother-in-law into doing calligraphy classes again, we'd do that. She used to do those through adult ed in Reading, and she would always help people with their wedding invitations.
Sure.
So I'd love to kind of bring some of those things back.
Just a thought.
Anything else?
I'm going to hit this button and see what it does. Didn't do anything.
Buttons aren't toys.
Dan?
Yes, Chris.
Dan? Can I don't know whether everybody got a chance to see it on the recreation page. That was hysterical when everybody dressed up like Dan Day.
Oh my God. I was dying.
I got the biggest kick out of that. Oh my God. That was hysterical.
I was howling, and they were trying to figure out how long it would take me to figure it out. I figured it out before they walked in the front door.
Get out. Oh.
I was absolutely dying laughing at it. I think they thought that I might be mad at it. I loved it. And I told them if I was mad at it, you wouldn't have ever caught me taking a picture with you. I was honored. I really felt, very, very privileged and blessed that they thought enough of me to do that. So they're good.
That was awful nice of those kids. All of them did a great job.
Yeah. They got me pegged. It's not that hard.
I hope everybody got a chance to see it.
Yeah. Anything else, anybody?
No, I'm still working on this computer.
Call if you need help. All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
Rich. Great job, Dan.
Thanks,
Hey,
everybody.
Charlie, I'd love to connect sometime if you have time.
Absolutely, yes. I was going to reach out
Yeah,
to you at some point.
I'll email you and see if we can meet one-on-one just so I can kind of get you up to speed on a lot of things.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay, bye, everybody.